Good afternoon. Our theme this year is a shift in time. And although the theme may have been chosen as a reference to the Roaring Twenties and Grad 2020, it is even more fitting considering the circumstances that we are under. Time has shifted, as I'm sure you're all aware. But aside from the current crisis, time has had an impact on each of us as graduates too. If we're talking in terms of our high school careers, I feel that each year had about 10 decades of growth in it and went by in about 3 seconds. Interestingly enough, there's a reason why each year of our life seems shorter, and why time seems to slip away right under your nose. This is because each year takes a smaller percentage of your life, making it seem like it's going by faster. For instance, when you're born to when you're 1, that year is 100% of your life, so it's the longest year. The next year then becomes 50% of your life, and so on. So when you're 30, each year is only around 3.33% of your life, meaning life really does go by faster as you age. So living it to the fullest is all we can do. Now that we know the mathematics of time and how it so rapidly accelerates, I'm going to talk about our past years of high school, our present state, and our future, where we can take a slow step back and forward to appreciate what has happened and what we can look forward to. Let's start off by going back to grade 10. We started off high school excited, maybe nervous, and I'd say overall confused, but not willing to admit it. We were young, and although we still are, I feel like each of us has grown immensely. Our troubles in grade 10 consisted of having too much homework and socially establishing ourselves. We spent our first semester singing ABBA on the bus with Mr. Ness and playing way too much chaos. And essentially staying in Miss Hogg's freezing room for the entire day because all of our courses were there. We felt that in that moment, everything socially mattered and was important to our future. And although some of that may be true, overall, all that really mattered was growth, so that we could handle the intense stresses coming in our new future that was grade 11. Now moving slightly forward to grade 11, I'd say most of us had to step it up. It wasn't time for fun games and the slacking of grade 10 no more. Our marks mattered. Universities would be looking at us as future students. Not to mention, 20-level courses got more difficult and required more of an attention span than many of us are willing to give. We struggled through our U-Prep project and sitting in the tiny corner of the student lounge wishing we were in grade 12. We started actually having to do a lot of English homework and social position papers and reading that we may have gotten away with before. Interestingly enough, I'd say most of us enjoy Shakespeare, even if it's just a bit. Overall, I think grade 11 sparked a bit more maturity for us, and we learned a lot of balance between heavy courses and trying to have fun. Now, let's move closer to the present and recap a bit of grade 12. I'd say this year was definitely our year, or what we had of grade 12 was our year. We learned the importance of community and acceptance. We all got closer and developed meaningful relationships with each other that I hope many of us continue to pursue outside of high school. This year consisted of a lot of community gathering outside of the classroom that have made me get to know all of you, the real you. And I want to thank the class for putting in the effort to build this community. We finally started to get a grip of handling courses while maintaining a social life, and many of us finally got a spare. We had disputes about bringing pillows into the student lounge, and we'd occasionally dance to songs that people would play on the speaker at lunch. We'd carry grudges from social debates that would slowly fade away with time because of our family nature. We'd get into arguments, sometimes regularly, that would go away because we couldn't stay mad. However, while school was getting good and many of us were anticipating the play that we were involved in and our trips and grad, life happened. This year, I think we learned the reality of life. That it isn't fair, that there will be problems outside our control, and that only God knows our futures. Our grad verse this year comes from Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1. For everything there is a season, a time and activity under heaven. From this verse, I think we can take the message that there is hope for the bright future we have ahead. Everything happens for a reason. Although we might not come to ever know that reason, remember that patience is a virtue. Our time will come for what we want in life. Unfortunately, that time is likely not now. Now that we're aware of the world's shifting nature, I want to give the graduates and members of the master's community some positive pieces of advice to bring with them to the future. Firstly, have ambition. Although it's easy to get upset with the changes that time and crisis bring, having ambition or motivation is necessary to accept and move through change and be successful. Without motivation in our lives, it's easy to fall behind and not get to the level of success we want to achieve. Be motivated and do what you want to do. Secondly, practice perseverance. In life, people will try to shut us down, to throw us off course, and to want us to fail for their own successes. There will be trial and error in everyone's lives. If we have a goal, don't let obstacles stop us. Learn to push through them so we can better our future. Push through your degree. Push through hardship. Push through COVID-19. Push ourselves over obstacles in life so we can be happy and meet our goals. What matters most is how we see ourselves and how far we're willing to go for our dreams. Thirdly, have faith. All of faith is connected to the idea of God and spirituality, and it is important to have faith in that aspect. That's not all that the word carries with it. Faith also means trusting ourselves even when we can't see the future we envision for ourselves. I know a little piece of each and every one of the grads here today, and I know we all carry traits to make us successful. It's a matter of pushing through all the obstacles that life brings and having faith in ourselves to succeed. Lastly, learn to be content. There will always be something we can criticize in our lives. Maybe it's ourselves, or how something is run, or how something looks. Although everyone experiences unhappiness at some point in our lives, I want to encourage us to pick out the positives more than the negatives. It's easy to go on a negative spiral about ourselves or something, but in the end, it doesn't achieve anything unless we are really doing something to change it. Being negative doesn't solve any problems. And although I'm guilty of doing this on multiple occasions, I want to change this aspect of myself moving forward, and I want to encourage you all to do so too. Now, I'm aware that you may not have listened to the past 7 minutes of me speaking, and I'm also aware that this speech won't change your life. My intention is to regain memories of the past and bring advice to use in our coming future. Although the class of 2020 may have had it rougher than other years, I'm thankful for the supportive community to work it through with. I am thankful for the opportunity to represent Masters as the historian, and I hope that if you at least draw one thing from my speech, it's that time can change everything, there's hope for a future, and stay positive. Cheers to the class of 2020. Thank you.